So, good afternoon, folks, and today we're going to do a quick overview of Peter Parker's Spectacular Spiderman 225, released in June, I think 1995, something in the trend. See if it's, yeah, June 1995. And, yeah, so for those of you who don't know or who know the drill, how I do these types of reviews, similar to Tales from the Past and other reviews, is I go through a comic from, let's say, or European comic, or manga from a previous era, or in this case, all the way up to 2010, 2011, something like that. And give quick breakdown of what it's all about, who the team is, of course, a quick synopsis. And breakdown in that case, and some good, bad, and ugly, and the final score. It goes from like, let's say, 10 out of 100 till 100 out of 100. That's with 10 out of 100 is 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100 is 10 out of 10, which is something that hardly happens and won't happen here. Also, there might things you might disagree with me about, and especially with this, since I'm not too familiar with this particular let's say comic, or with I'm familiar with what time period it's from and what happens during that time period, and I have my own opinion about it. There are some things I don't know. There's some gaps in my knowledge, and that's totally fine. Let's just try to keep it civil, My goal of this is to bring back, similar to other YouTubers, to walk and maybe comic book YouTubers like Captain Frugal. I try to walk away from the drama and go back to another time, a simpler time, where we could just discuss which character could be who, which comic is good, is the art good, is the story writing good, does it belong in the cover battle. We had a discussion about this on one of my YouTube videos about the Flash of Two Worlds, which was, those are the kind of discussion that I want to have more, instead of listening to, of the rumor of, this one has let's say, how do you call those things? I don't even know, don't care. It's, receipts on this because he did something like that, things like that, and someone's paying you to, do this. I'm kind of done with that stuff. And, of course, I'll be using 3 sources. One is the most complete one, is mycomicbookshop.com, mycomicbookshop.com in that case, the Grand Comic Database, and of course the League of Comics Geeks, to give you the opinions of other people who read this issue. And I come armed with my little notebook to show you that I'm prepared, and do it a little bit old school. So Peter Parker, Spectacular Spiderman 255, The Return of the Green Goblin, was released in June 1995, written by Tom DeFalco, pencils Sal Buscema, inks Bill Sienkiewicz, I probably butcher those names, my apologies in advance, colors John College, letters Clem Robbins, Bill Oakley and John Babcock, and Susan Gillespie, I really butcher those names, Eric Fane, and the group editor is Danny Fingeroff, and the cover art is done by Scott McDaniel, and editor-in-chief is Bob Budiansky. I'm terrible with names. So now we get to the synopsis. The Green Goblin has returned, but in this case, it's not the Green Goblin, it's not Harry Osborn, because in this continuation, this is before the whole story that brought him kind of back from the death and ruined Mary Jane and Peter Parker's relationship. In this case, he's still dead, but this new Green Goblin is actually not the same. Is actually not a good. Is not a bad guy. More like an anti-hero kind of guy, and he has only a brief exposure to the formula, and the majority of the power comes from the mask that he's using, and he only receives a small dose of the serum without it driving him to insanity. and his true name is Phil Urich, and Peter Parker or Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly confront him, and they have to work together with to beat a villain named Firefist, who is about to control fire and combust. But turns out it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship, but it isn't because like I said, the formula still has some effect of him and is still at times as crazy as the Hobgoblin, as Harry, as Norman Osborn, who is presumably dead in this case, but you all know he'll eventually come back. I mean, American comics are kind of predictable at this point. And Mary Jane visits Ben Reilly in prison because he was arrested. Spider-Man, for those who don't know, in this issue, Spider-Man or Ben Reilly or Peter Parker was arrested for a crime that he didn't commit. And there's some appearance of Jackal and Spidercide. There's some back and forth, some pro-life things, some other things, and that's about it. So the good, bad, and the ugly. Now, it's an interesting take on the Green Goblin. I kind of like those segments with him, and also I like the segments with an interaction between Ben Reilly, so the Scarlet Spider, and Mary Jane. But that being said, it also highlights some of the problems with this issue, and they're kind of being mentioned here as well. I know it still feels like a placeholder because, like I said, we already know that Norman Osborn eventually comes back. We all know that Peter Parker will eventually be Spider-Man again. But it feels more like a placeholder thing. I like this take, I like this character, but it also shows the problem with the Clone Saga. And people tell you that that if when did Spider-Man stop being good? They always mention One More Day, but in this case, I have to give it to the Clone Saga because it includes characters like this, and I could tell you a little bit about what happens next with him. He eventually gives up his role as the Green Goblin. He becomes Hobgoblin, becomes a Goblin King, because instead of letting him retire for good as a placeholder, they have to Marvel doesn't know what they're doing, and they either kill him off or they just bring him back in some other different form that's takes a little bit same little bit with what happened. That's kind of started the problem with the Spider-Mans. With too many Spider-Mans, the original gets overshadowed, and there's nothing special about it. Those are the problems I have with these type of stories, but it's an interesting take. I do like those two characters. I do like Phil Urich, and I do like Ben Reilly, and this interaction with Mary Jane about the kid, etc. So the final verdict is we go to the League of Comics Geeks, where surprisingly there's a lot of likes, and I understand why. 42 out of 54 liked it with a 3.6 average rating that accumulates in a 78 out of 100 people that liked it. For me, like I said, there are some good parts in it, but also some parts that I already mentioned that kind of you already know what's coming, and it was actually the beginning of something eventually that got worse over time because they don't know what they're doing. So for me, they give the 78 out of 100. My score is 70 out of 100. It's not bad. There are some segments that I like, but it also highlighted some of the problems that would come back to bite them in the future. And that's about it. And if you like to see me make more videos like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and check out what I created with my hardworking friend on Global Comics, and of course Gumroad. I put the links down in the description below, and make sure to read and buy Jaguar Warrior issue 1 and 2, and eventually 3, in both digital and physical formats. That's all I have to say for this video. I have to make some dinner. Talk to you guys later. Hasta la próxima, chicos, y chicas. Dewa, matane.